And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday. Let's see, this thing's backwards, I think. If you're watching the replay, thanks so much for watching the replay. For those of you that have been here before, a couple of you, Ned Kelly, what's going on? Welcome. I appreciate you big time. So where's everybody watching from? Let's hear it. I talked to people this morning from LA. I talked to people last night from the UK. I talked to people from all over looking to relocate here, which is a lot of fun. My team and I are currently helping 48 people relocate, which is super exciting. Good evening, Laura, from wet and gray east coast of England. I've got it kind of dark in here, but it's sunny. It is sunny here in Orlando, which is one of the reasons we love living here. South Lyon, Michigan, what's going on? Do I know you? I'm from Michigan. I was in South Lyon all the time. Got lots of friends that live in South Lyon. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Helen, how are you? Good to see you guys. David and Simon from UK, what's going on, guys? Don't rub it in. Laura says, that's okay. That's okay. Things are getting slowly but surely back to normal, right? So we're going to be able to come over and visit us soon. That's going to be amazing. Just wait for a couple more people rolling in. So today, here's what we're going to cover. Going to go over kind of our theme, our format. If you've not joined us before, I go over some of the stuff that we've seen here going on in Orlando, from theme parks to Orlando living to real estate. We take about 10, 15 minutes to go through some of those news stories and that, kind of bring you a breakdown of what I'm seeing out there. And then we go into some Q&A, which is my favorite part of the show. So feel free to start dropping Q&A whenever you'd like, answering life about Orlando here. I don't know everything, but I try to find out everything that I can. And I definitely am a student of the area. I just love my city and love helping people relocate and buy and sell here. We help a lot of buyers, obviously, relocate. But if you're a seller watching, if you're thinking about maybe selling your house, we can definitely help you with that as well. So appreciate you guys hanging out here. What's up, Tim from Washington State? And we're going to get you a house. I'm excited. Stephen from New York City. Stephen, how's things looking up in New York, man? Are you guys a little bit more open? I know the market there, I've got friends that are agents there. They tell me that the market's crazy like it is here, but some of the luxury stuff's slowing down. That's kind of interesting to see. All right, so let us see the banners. Let's hide that guy. And we're going to get into our first deal, the big deal, right? So this happened last week. A lot has happened in Disney and Universal and theme parks over the past week in regards to the pandemic and COVID, which, regardless of where you're at in the spectrum, we're going to break down kind of what we're looking like. So, last Monday, they said, hey, listen, by this weekend or so, we're going to get rid of temperature checks. And then and Universal actually came out with that first, and Disney came out with it second. And then boom, last night, Universal said, hey, we're going to drop the mask mandate if you're outside. So if you're still inside, you have to make sure that you're still wearing a mask when you're going to a restaurant and that kind of thing. If you're going inside of a queue for a line, you have to do that kind of thing. And then Disney followed suit this morning, or I guess it was like I was getting texts at 1 a.m. People are texting me like, did you see this? Did you see this? So Walt Disney is following suit. So what do you guys think down below? It's kind of interesting. I think for the past year, for those of us that have lived here, to see things like, completely open to Disney shuts down, nobody's here, and then like slowly opening it up. And I think they've done a good job for the most part. It's kind of interesting. If I'm being completely honest, I'm a huge Disney fan, but Universal, I feel like they were nicer about it. Like you'd go to the parks and they were just a little bit more kind about making sure your mask was on and making sure that things were socially distanced. Disney, I feel like they were a little tougher on people. And I don't know if maybe they're just more people in general or what it was, but I'm excited to see, as the vaccine rolls out and all these other kind of things, things getting a little bit more back to normal. Feels good. Feels really, really good. All right, let's get outside of the theme parks. There's a couple other stories I wanted to share with you. So this is interesting. I was sitting down with a commercial broker the other day. I handle pretty much all residential at this point in my career. Commercial is like a whole nother animal. Like understanding the business side of it, I understand why businesses work, but like the commercial space is just different. So sitting down with a friend of mine who does commercial real estate, and we were talking about like what downtown Orlando needs to thrive. Because right now, you have some people that live down there. There's some really great little restaurants, little bars, but like it needs like an Apple store or like a little bit more like retail. Something that after like all of the jobs that kind of go on during the week, all the white collar jobs, they leave the city or they go back home like there's no draw to downtown Orlando, other than maybe Lake Eola and some other stuff. There's just really not a ton, right? And so when I see stuff like this start popping up, I think this is a really big win for downtown. This one's actually a little bit closer, like between Baldwin Park and Audubon Park. This guy right here. So Amazon wants to open a grocery and four-star stores in Orlando. They've already have one of these at Mall of Millennia, which is cool. There's like, anything rated 4 stars and above. If you guys have seen these before, like where you're at. Hey, Denise, thanks so much for catching us live. What's up? What's up, Cooper? Good to see you. So these are cool stores, but they're also going to do some grocery as well. And so, downtown already has a Publix. It has, everything you need, but does it have everything you want? No, I don't think so. So there's a lot of stories we're going to talk about today that actually dive into like more stuff coming downtown, which I think is a great opportunity. You've got so much going on downtown already. You've got that like is setting the stage for what's coming, I believe, into a really thriving downtown Orlando. Instead of everybody like going out to the suburbs, like going out to Winter Park and getting the restaurants and the culture and the arts and all that kind of stuff, bringing more of that downtown I think is cool. And so one of those steps again is like this 4-star guy in Orlando. If you guys don't know where this is, let me see if I can show you. So it's right on Colonial. You've got like Lake Eola District, Thornton Park is right here, and then like Winter Park and Audubon Park are up here. So this is where their first one's going to go. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a good thing for downtown as things kind of continue to progress. The next thing that's coming downtown, which I think is cool, is this guy right here. So this is it's an expansion of the Orlando Museum of Art. And this is a great location as well. This is like 2 blocks off of Lake Eola. This is going to be at the bottom of this 33-story building. And it's like an apartment building. Here you go. There's like a little rendering we can take a look at. That's pretty cool. So you got Lake Eola right there. There's a little building there. And then this big 33-story apartment building is going to be then anchored by the Museum of Art. And so I think that's a great thing. If you guys watched a video I did like last week, I interviewed people downtown Orlando, and I said, so if you were a developer and you had to like wave a Harry Potter wand of like what you could put down here, what would you add? And people said more arts, more retail. And it's cool. Like then all of a sudden this week we started seeing more and more stories coming out of like cool stuff like this. So I think it's great. Downtown Orlando, it's got, there's a few buildings that you can like own in. Like condo buildings, and then there's some older like historic neighborhoods where you can own like smaller homes, but like most of what's getting developed are for rent apartments. And so instead of it being like more like condos for sale or more houses for sale, I mean obviously houses, it's too tight down there to build more houses, but I think it would be cool to see more condos that you could actually buy and live in there, so you can build some equity instead of just renting downtown. But anyways, I think that at the very least, adding more retail and the like arts kind of stuff, which they're doing, this is amazing to me. So what do you guys think? For those of you that maybe live here or visit and go downtown, what do you guys think of this kind of stuff? What's going on? Oh, geez. So this guy, the Irish Hammer, so he got here on Thursday, went to Sawgrass Bay to look at model homes, very, very shady people running the one. Yeah, I mean, new construction folks are interesting. They obviously want to get the whole deal. But some builders, Irish man, some builders are not even paying realtors at this point. And I tell my clients, like, listen, the ones that don't want to pay us, I'm still going to sell you a house because we want to do the right thing. But it's interesting because, those are the same builders that 8 years ago were like begging us, please, 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 please bring your buyers by. We'll pay you extra commissions. We'll do whatever it takes to get your business. And then now those guys are like, oh, I'm sorry, I've got amnesia. And, now they don't want to pay us, but it's fine. I mean, again, like I don't do this for free, right? I'm selling real estate, but I do at the end of the day care the most about my clients and want to make sure you guys get the right deal. So let's see. Helen, so you said you have an Amazon store. They have the highest rate of purchase. Like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's like, I shop a ton on Amazon, and so to walk in there and see, like, it's interesting to see the trends too. Like when people are in the Amazon stores, what's popular nationwide. I think it's a cool thing, like just a thought in people's buying behaviors. Hey, Don from England, what's going on? So Andrew, what's going on, man? I saw you in Publix the other day. Man, my client went to Walmart in Hamlin, so that's in Winter Garden. For those of you that don't know, I only saw two people without masks, and we're going to sauna today. So I'm sure you're going to see what's going on. I think at Disney with some of these restaurants, I think that they're going to put the mask on while you're waiting to get your table. Then when you get there, you can take it off just like normal. But it'll be interesting to see. I think like people out and about. I was looking on Instagram today at some different bigger accounts that I follow, and they had snapshots of like people walking down the street for the first time, down Main Street without masks for the first time. And it's interesting. I mean, whether if you're still nervous about it, then you should definitely still wear a mask. And if you're not as nervous about it, then you have the option, which I think options are great. So let's see. Helen says, I think builders know that they're at the end of a good thing, and they're trying to squeeze out every cent they can. You're absolutely right. So I talked to a builder this week, a very well-known builder, and they said, yeah, we stopped paying builders or agents 2 months ago, but by next phase, we plan on bringing our whole program back and inviting you guys back. And so it's just kind of an interesting thing. I was telling a client the other day, like I kind of get a little bit hurt because many of these builders reach out to me personally and they ask like, hey, can you help us with our marketing, help set our floor plans? We're trying to help with pricing. Can you give us a call and let us know what you guys think about pricing? And you help them and you invest time completely unpaid. And then when it comes down to it, again, I don't like, it almost sounds a little greedy, but like for me, it's let's have a partnership here, right? Like the buyers all want good quality product. I want to invest my time to make sure you guys are building a good quality product. But at the end of the day, like I work 100% on commission. So I don't get paid unless I sell a house. And so it's just an interesting thing what these builders are doing and to their clients as well. Like, so for you guys, a lot of these builders are stripping the houses of their base prices. They're not offering gutters. They're not offering really anything. Some of them are getting rid of as many appliances as they can while still allowing things to get mortgages happening. It's like, it's an interesting thing, right? What happens when somebody can take advantage of the market a little bit? I feel like your true colors definitely show through. And you just kind of put a little note on the side of like, I will remember that. And allows me then to like best show my clients and my team and I to show our clients, hey, these are the things you need to look out for on this builder because here's where they're pulling back. Here's where they're getting really cheap. So it's interesting. So Helen, I hope you're right. You said raw material costs are going down a little bit. And so, what are builders going to use for justification? So it's interesting. Yeah, I hear like lumber is finally starting to plateau. If some of these costs of goods start going down, what are they going to use to justify some of these crazy prices? I don't know. I think part of it's going to be inflation. I think part of it's going to be, hey, the market's crazy. It is what it is. They'll come up with some reason. It's either land development costs. I had somebody talk about, costs of XYZ were going up. I had one builder tell me this week, hey, we want to start pre-selling houses because, but we're not going to file permits right away because we're trying to skip out on land development costs with the permits. So like impact fees from the county. So there's just a big game. I'm not complaining. It's just like, there's a lot to it. When most people like think, oh, I'm just going to go jump on new construction. It's going to be super easy. Walk in the door, get the house of my dreams. Like that's what I hope happens. And that's what I hope we help people do. But at the end of the day, there's like so many little nuances in the process that if you're unaware of, you could potentially lose some money, time, all that good stuff. So Jay says he's like the IRS. I'm like the IRS. You don't want them auditing the builder. Yeah, word on it. Any builders not taking advantage? No, they all are in one way or the other. One way or the other, they're all kind of like leaning in and trying to, squeak out. I mean, they do this to make money, right? At one part, I don't fault them. The builders that are not paying me because they have a waiting list of thousands of people, do I completely fault them? No, because they're in it to make money. Do I think it's also like a little unethical? Maybe, because they've asked for so many favors in the past. It just doesn't feel like we're working together as a partnership. That's a great line. It's an interesting deal. All right, we've got a couple more stories to get in here. So let's talk a little bit about what we got here. This one I thought was an interesting story because it's a huge deal for Orlando if we can get it to get through. So Hunters Creek Group opposes the Brightline extension along 417 to Disney. So why is this important? So Brightline, for those of you guys that don't know, this is basically the train that's going to go from Miami up through to Disney Springs and then back down around to Tampa. And that's a huge deal because being able to connect via train and be able to jump on a train, get to Miami in like an hour, that would be sick, right? Or even 90 minutes, like that would be amazing. But there's groups that are opposing it, and honestly, I kind of understand why. If I lived in these areas, so here's 417. Like, you guys can you all see this pretty decently? I'm trying to make it as big as I can. So here's 417 right here. So for those of you who don't know, I-4 is kind of like the nightmare of like if you can stay off I-4, you do, just because it's our only like, free interstate. And then you've got like 417 right here. This guy needs a toll road, and then 429 back up here is a big toll road. And honestly, I spend the majority of my time on the toll road just because there's less traffic. But basically what the Brightline's trying to do is tap into 417 here. Here's Hunters Creek, and they're trying to bring it up through here and then jump on down through Hunters Creek and then ride the service line all the way down and around back here, Celebration, and then back up to Disney. So why is that a problem for these people? Well, because they're going to have a train where right now they've got like not really conservation, just open fields, right? And so if you own a property there, your values could go down, or they probably will go down. And so much like backing to like a golf course that becomes defunct, you buy a house and then all of a sudden what's behind you is what? Not good. So I don't know, what do you guys think about this? I think, the positive side is like Orlando needs mass transit in a big way. If you can, alleviate some of that off the roads, I think it's great. What else are you going to do to get a train through you're going to have to go through and upset somebody along the way. I'm sure maybe they compensate these people somehow. I don't know. But they basically have until July 31st, I think it is, or July 30th to get a deal done with a lot of these people and move forward so that they can keep the Brightline going. This has been like ongoing for years and years, but they're like so close to try to get something done to be able to get the government funds and be able to kind of get going. Brightline was also partnering up with Virgin Trains. So it was like Virgin Trains is what they were rebranding it at. But then through the pandemic, Virgin Trains backed out, Brightline stepped back up. So it's been this ongoing thing. But as somebody that wants to go hang out in Miami from time to time, or maybe down to Tampa and back without having to drive, I think this would be cool. Jay, I agree. He says, need Brightline on International Drive, ideally close to Universal Studios. So this is the crazy thing. Like I always I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I kind of think about like who is driving some of this stuff. So Brightline right now is scheduled to have a stop at Disney Springs and not go up to iDrive or Universal. And so you got a lot of Universal people that are like, well, wait a minute, like we want to stop, right? Because if you're able to dump a bunch of people onto Disney Springs is going to benefit. And then who's going to want to, Uber maybe up to Universal. And so I could see how like Universal would be like, hey, Hunters Creek, you guys don't want this. Like, you guys don't want this. Bring it on this side of town and things will go a little bit better, right? You never know. Chris, man, until we get together for coffee down in Miami, there we go. I appreciate you, man. So I got a couple more things here real quick, and we're going to get into your guys' questions for the day. Feel free to start dropping them on. If you can't stay for the entire day, drop them in the comments. I try to answer as many as I can. I think we do pretty well getting through a bunch of them here. Like one more thing, I just want to talk over sort of a market overview with you guys because, hey, I'm a real estate agent, and that's what I do. Let's see here. All right, cool. So this is the 7-day market watch of what's going on here in Orlando. Again, this is like Orange County, Osceola, Seminole, and Lake. And here's kind of what's going on. So there's been 800 new listings in the past 7 days. 167 have increased their price. 190 decreased their price. And I think this is interesting because like you see a lot of sellers right now trying to take advantage of the market. They're like, hey, comparables are 500,000. I'm going to list for 550 and see what happens. And the market's crazy. It's crazy still, but is it 10% over market value to start? Not that crazy yet. And then here's the number that I think we all should pay attention to if you care about this kind of stuff is the pending numbers. So you've got 1,200 homes that went pending in the same amount of time. And so again, there's 400 more houses that went pending than actually were listed, which means you have a lot more demand than supply. And so for the first time, I've been doing this for a really long time, like 17 years. I've never seen average days on market at like a week, but that's pretty much where we're at for Orlando. So usually like a balanced market is like it takes you 2 or 3 months to sell your house. Now it takes you a week, right? And so, I sit down with a lot of sellers and they say, well, okay, tell like my house is going to sell. Like, what's your value as a real estate agent in today's market? My value in today's market is like I list a house, yes, but then we still do the full marketing boat so that we get you a ton of people to see it. And then my goal is to like negotiate waived appraisal, quick inspection, over asking, occupancy after closing if you want it. Like there's so many things that I can do because we get so many people through the door. And that's actually where I'm making, the money for the client at this point. And so I had a house we listed right outside of Lake Nona on Wednesday. We've had 36 showings, 6 offers, all of them over asking at this point. And now it's just picking the one that's going to give us the biggest appraisal waiver. So if you're a buyer looking to move into town, that's the kind of stuff that you need to have to get a house in some of these more popular areas. So it's interesting to see. Here's another like little quick tip, and I'm going to get to your questions. The expired listing. So expired means that they tried to sell it and for whatever reason didn't sell. So like there's still 20 people in all of Orlando that tried to sell over the past 6 months and couldn't for one reason or the other. It's usually price or condition. As a new agent, I would call on these people and say like, hey, you tried to sell, let me try to help you, right? And those numbers used to be like 20% of the listings didn't sell. Now it's 2%, right? So like, it's wild. It's really wild what's going on. All right, so let's do this. Let's get into some questions here. Good to see you guys. You got 86 people hanging out with us live. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Every other Saturday at 1 o'clock, we're going to hang out and talk real estate, talk Orlando. Yeah, so Tim asks, do I have an updated proposed sports complex coming to Winter Garden? Not much in the news recently on that. No, yeah, I mean, there was one, it's supposed to be right near Hamlin. There's supposed to be a whole complex. We all voted on it as a community. They sent something out and you got to say like what the money was going to go for. That was like a year ago. And I know the money's been allocated, but they haven't really come out with like official plans on that. I will tell you though, like, here's a crazy thing. So again, if you don't know what you're buying, hold on a second here. This over here, so you guys can see it. The Olympus, which we talked about last week, is coming to Claremont. And at first I was like, oh, all the way in Claremont. I mean, I live in Horizon West, so it's not really like that far for me, but I was like, oh, it's all the way in Claremont. Here's the crazy thing. So you've got New Independence Parkway. And for people that purchased in this neighborhood right here, that's by Dreamfinders, this New Independence Parkway, this is where Hamlin's at, this is where Starbucks is at, and like all the way over here was going to be the sports complex. So now the crazy thing is this New Independence Parkway is actually going to connect and come right into that neighborhood and then all the way down to connect over to 27. And then this over here is where the Olympus is going to be. So it's really close actually. So like, I'm excited. I'm very excited. When I found out it was like that close of Claremont, I mean, we're in Horizon West kind of down here, and this New Independence is going to connect us right into it. I think it's going to be very, very cool. So for people that are looking to move into those areas, think smart. For those of you that didn't know or didn't ask the question about like what that road is behind us that they're coming in here with, I'm not going to like, it would be illegal for me to say, you need to sell your house quickly before this comes, because that's called blockbusting, but it's just kind of an interesting thing to know. I guess I'll leave it at that. Interesting thing to know. And you just got to, I think, disclose it. If you're going to sell your house, let people know what's coming down. Do the good thing. Andrew, man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm excited for you guys to see the place come together, driving past the house. There's nothing about this. Funny, my wife told me the other day, she's like, if you were taking me on a date today and like, all you would want to do is go and drive around, look at neighborhoods, that's what I do for fun. Like I do it for my job, but it's something I just enjoy watching, like houses come together, working with clients and getting to see like, hey, on paper, this is what we all put together at the design center. And then all of a sudden, like you see it get built. It's like one of the coolest experiences. It's like just super lucky to do this for a living. All right, so Laura asks, what drives the decision to increase a price once on the market? doesn't seem like the best sales strategy to draw some people in? That's a great question. So this is, for the most part, there's two things that have happened when people are driving the price up. So back when I showed you guys the market report, people increasing their sales, usually two things. One, a lot of times, like this just happened to me with a buyer of mine. The house was listed at 650. The seller got an offer for 675, but then the buyers on that house, the deal fell apart and they couldn't get financing for whatever reason. So they listed it again at 675, knowing like, hey, listen, there's enough buyers in the market that I can resell this at 675. So it would count as a price increase. And then my people came in and jumped on it at 675 and said, done, you know? And so that's like one reason. And the other one would be builders. So builders say, hey, listen, our base prices used to be 325. Now they're 340. Every 5 homes we sell, we increase the price $10,000. So you see that a lot. So those are the two reasons I see the most on why people raise their price. Yeah, he said not a proper question. That is a proper question because I built this like labyrinth of movie props, and so yeah, that's a Thanos. It's the Iron Man Thanos glove. I've got Stormbreaker now too, right there. So that's what I do when I'm not selling real estate or hanging out with my family. All right, so Lena asks, hey Ken, Geo just sold us our townhouse in Windermere. Congrats and welcome to the neighborhood. Congratulations. Geo is amazing, by the way, guy on my team. Love that guy. We want to buy a larger retirement home in the next 3 or 4 years. What are the best areas in Windermere and Dr. Phillips to look at, budget under 650? So that's, the question would be, how new are you looking? Dr. Phillips has got a couple new neighborhoods around it that are coming. I really like the 32836 area. That's like the 535 corridor. You've got like Royal Cypress in there. That whole area, and then Apopka Island has a bunch of new neighborhoods. Like Pulte has, Phillips Grove is over there. You got a lot of really nice new neighborhoods. If you're looking for something like maybe a little bit older, like maybe you like a little bit more charm, Bay Hill's great. I think Bay Hill is going to have like a continued glow up here shortly. You have a lot of these houses that were built in the 80s and 90s and 70s that are now getting completely remodeled, and people are buying them for like 400, putting 100,000 into them and selling them in the 500s. So if you're talking about retirement and you want like all one level, like Bay Hill's a great option for you. Downtown Windermere is so pricey now; you really can't get anything in the 650s. So for me, I would say like that 535 corridor, Apopka Island, Bay Hill. And then also don't sleep on Horizon West. I think that's an awesome option for you as well. It says, what does your wife work at in Orlando, and what would I do if I wasn't a realtor? So if I wasn't a realtor, I'd probably be a full-time YouTuber, but that doesn't exactly pay the bills. So I'm a real estate agent. I freaking love it. Yeah, that would be pretty much it. My wife actually takes care of the kids though. We've got 3 kiddos, and that's a full-time job in itself, and she's absolutely amazing at it. So that's what we do. Yeah, John, welcome, John. I don't think I've seen your name before, so welcome to the show. So he says, in other forums, I keep hearing about something connecting road called Western Way that will get you to the parks faster. Let me show you what that is. For those of you that are OG Saturday Lives, excuse us because you've heard this before. But so you've got Horizon West right here, and you've got, let's see, let me zoom out a little bit. All right, so right now you've got Horizon West right here. Hopefully, John, you can see this fairly well on your screen. Looks like I can. I'm looking over there. So you got Horizon West. This is 429, and then down here is 192. You got Disney and everything over here, right? You can see our cursor. So Claremont is all of this stuff out here. Claremont is like, literally this right here is in the 400s, like 300s, 400s, and then this over here is 400, 700, right? So you save a lot of money by living in Claremont. And one of the reasons being is because you got to go all the way down 429, all the way to 192 down here, and then all the way up 27 if you want to get to Disney. But they're actually opening up this new road, Western Way. And so let's see. Hickory Nut. There's Western Way. We got it down here. Western Way. Why is this not coming through? Osceola Parkway, Reedy Creek, Sidell, nope, down here. Western Way. Okay, cool. So then you got Western Way right here. That's going to connect over here past Avalon, and then right here it's going to go all the way up into Sawgrass. So then you're going to be able to get this Western Way road right here leads right into Disney World. So right now it kind of dead ends into like this neighborhood of nothing. Right over here, you've got MI Homes building houses. Down here, you've got Toll Brothers building houses, and then eventually this road's going to connect. It's literally like, when I kid you not, it's like 50 feet away from being finished. That's supposed to be done in the next year or so. And then once that's finished, you can get from Claremont. They're going to use that sort of as a thoroughfare to be able to get to Disney. I think it's going to be great for cast members that live up in there, people that are just excited about Disney. So it's a great benefit if you're thinking about living up in Claremont, because it'll shave your drive from like 20, 25 minutes to like 15. So anyways, that's my spiel on Western Way. So that, and then New Independence Parkway, which is like 2 miles north. Once New Independence Parkway is, but that's like, I think a couple years from now, at least 2 or 3 years until that's done. Once they connect it over to Olympus, that's going to really tie Claremont and Horizon West together really well. And I think that's going to open up quite a bit for a lot of people. So Sol Cespedes, why do some builders not provide blueprints? All I want to have is like a basic area measurements so I can buy furniture. That's actually a great question. Jay, if you're watching this, we got to clip this guy right here because this is a great question. So I think when you say blueprints, you mean like, hey, the actual like room dimensions and all that kind of stuff. A lot of builders were getting caught in like selling houses with blueprints, and then all of a sudden you'd close and you have your layout and you're like, this room is like slightly smaller than I was promised. And if it's even 6 inches off, you're suing the builder and that sort of thing. So a lot of builders are saying like the house is approximately 2,800 square feet. And then if you want to look at our model, you can look at our model and measure it. But just so you know, it could be like the model. It could be a little bit different. We can't promise you anything until we get you into the field, because every house is built a little bit different. Now, they have blueprints. They submit them to the county. They're supposed to be built exactly to that. But because things change all of the time with their models, they don't want you to have like an old, the Williamsburg model, and then they've changed it 6 months later, but you grabbed an old sheet and you're like, well, this is 9 by 10 and this looks like it's 11 by 4, whatever it is, right? And so that's a lot of the reasons why these builders that are changing models all the time that hopefully improve the layout, because a lot of times the builder will get into building the building and be like, you know what, this closet does not make sense right here. Why is this here? Let's move this over here and let's redo the kitchen on this way, right? And so for all of those reasons, especially these big box builders, they don't like to give out blueprints, because they don't want to get caught with you like saying, hey, it's supposed to be this size and it's not. So KTT428, hey Ken, is it possible to build an estate-size house with a basement in Orlando? It's not. Our water table is just too high. So I've sold maybe 3 houses with a basement in all of Orlando, and back that up. I've sold 1 house. I've seen 3. And it was downtown Orlando, something that was built in like the 20s, and it was like on a big slope, and it had a water pump that was just constantly pumping all of the time to keep the water out. And so our water table is just too high to have a basement. I have seen a couple houses, one in Claremont, another one in Champions Gate, that were kind of, again, on a slant, and they were able to build out essentially the first floor underground. But for the most part, our water table is too high and everything's so flat that you don't have the opportunity to take advantage of that topography like you do in other places in the country. So unfortunately, basements, you just got to go up instead. Yeah. So New York Iron, what's up, man? Good to see you on a Saturday. Looking to move in 2023, considering Horizon West will be priced out with a 450 budget. Yeah, I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher. 450, you can still get a smaller house. I think the biggest thing what people need to understand is like, you don't need a pool home. And if you need a pool home, maybe you buy one without a pool and add it after the fact. Because I get a lot of calls or like, hey, I'm moving to Florida, I need a pool. Maybe you do, but try the community pool first. If you don't like that, add it after the fact. Is it going to be the best ROI? No. But if your budget is 450 or 400 or 375, that's really one of the only options you're going to be able to do, is to build it after the fact. So I think you'll still, even a year from now, be able to get something, in the 400s. But yeah, it's getting harder and harder. That's for sure. Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks, John. I appreciate you showing up, buddy. Anytime, every other Saturday at 1 o'clock. Yeah, Josh, dude, Atlas Pools is great. Pools by Bradley has been my favorite so far. I've looked at a lot of their work. A lot of my clients have used them, and they do really good. The crazy thing is, man, they are getting like, oh, here's a good tip for you, Josh, because I know you guys are building a house. Call them now to get a pool quote, and you might get them to show up in 2 or 3 months to give you a quote. Like that's how backed up these builders are through the pandemic. Um, so the good builders, like if you get a pool guy that's like, I can be there tomorrow at 9 o'clock, they're probably not very busy, probably not that great. But yeah, a lot of these guys are booked up like 2 months to give you a quote, and then 10 months to get your pool in. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, right. It's wild. He said, Claremont, here you come. I don't think it's a bad play, man. I really don't. I really don't. Um, Jay said, is Lou Holt's house for sale in Lake Nona around 4.5? I have not seen it, man, but I'm going to look it up as soon as we're done here. That's for sure. Actually, let's do it live. Why not? Let's go through. Let's do this together. So, Lake Nona, 32827, 4 million plus, and nothing for sale currently. Let's try 32. Nothing currently for sale. Over 4 million. Nope. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, not even 3 million right now. So a lot of stuff, man. I just sold a house in Lake Nona Country Club the other day, and looking at what sales prices are doing, and like the country club right now over there, it's insane. I mean, you used to be able to get a really great house in the mid like 1.5 to 1.8. Really, everything's over $2 million now. It's kind of wild. What's going on? AM. AM. Good to see you from Northern Ireland. Can't wait to get back to Florida. I've got a lot of people in Northern Ireland. I've got multiple past clients that purchased with us over the past 5 years, and they have been like WhatsApping me every day. Like, I can't wait to get in. If you guys own a house, by the way, if you're watching this and you own a house in Central Florida and you need somebody to do like a house check, a wellness check on your house because you can't get over here from Canada or the UK, just shoot me an email. My team and I, we'd love to just stop in, whatever we can do to help you make sure you're just comfortable. I know a lot of people have nests or they've got people that go and check on the house, and that's all awesome. But if it's not like an Airbnb where you have a manager, we're doing vacant house checks. At this point, we're doing them for free just because for the goodwill of our community. But if you need something like that, just shoot me a message. We're happy to do it. Damien, what's going on, man? Happy Saturday. Welcome. Are there any fiberglass pool companies in Orlando? I don't know, man. I'm sure there are. I remember when I lived up north, there were a ton, like the prefabricated, you see them on the side of the road. They just come in and stick them in there. I don't see that here. Most people, it's from the ground up. Hey, so any really good one-story floor plan amenities that you would recommend? I like Jones Homes has a bunch of really nice single-story floor plans. Really nice. And you can check them out. They're in Lake Nona over in Eagle Creek, or you can reach out. We can set up something for you. They've got some really great first floor plans. They also were building in downtown Winter Garden in Stanton Estates, but they're already sold out. But from a resale perspective, I would check them out. They've got like really high ceilings on their first floors. Just very impressed by their quality. They're national, builder. They build in Canada as well, but they're not losing like a lot of losing the quality that I think a lot of the builders are. So yeah, Jones is really great. Let's check them out. All right. So Jay keeps saying that his house is listed in Lake Nona Country Club. Let's see, Jay. I'm gonna take this out. We're gonna start this over. I got to do this now. I got to find out. We're gonna figure this out together. Let's see, over 4 million in Orange County. 17 ounces for sale. Nope. No, sir. Feel free to drop the link. But I'm looking at it online right now, unless it's sold, unless it went pending. Let's see if it went pending. Golden Oak. Oof. Look at these houses, you guys. Oh my gosh. So this one's Lake Nona Country Club. This is 5.7 million. This one was on the market 7,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 6 full baths. I kind of love it. It's a little bit like it's more transitional. Oh yeah, look at that yard. The pool. Got the spa over here. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lake Nona Country Club. Deers. Lake Nona, did you guys know? I found this out because we were doing a video on like the lakes of Orlando, and Lake Nona is the clearest lake in all of Orange or all of Orlando. Yeah, gorgeous. Anyhow, 5.7. Nope. Golden Oak. This one's on the market for 2 days. Golden Oak's crazy, you guys. I was talking to some clients of mine today that were looking at moving into Golden Oak. Actually, I was talking to them yesterday, and the pricing there has been just insane. People bought their houses like, a year ago and listing them for $500,000 more, and then going into multiple offers within a couple of days on the market. It is just absolutely wild. And I mean, I kind of get it. Like, there's only 300 houses in all of Golden Oak, 299 actually, but it's amazing to see like the premiums that people are getting. And this house is like sick. I love this house so much. Let's see, they were listed at 4.925, 5,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4 full, 4 half baths. Yeah, very, very cool. Sold in 2 days. Wow. Our luxury market's on fire. There's people moving here. We've got lots of clients right now from California and Washington, a lot of those. A couple from New York, but mostly from the West Coast that are moving here. Let's get back to your questions. What do I think of Mediterranean design? I like it. It's okay. I like modern more than anything. Modern, contemporary, a little bit. To me, that's my jam. But I like the Mediterranean stuff. Italian. I like Italian more than Mediterranean. I feel like there's a lot of Mediterranean here in Orlando, and like builders have started getting over from that. And like I feel like probably some of the problems with some of these Mediterranean neighborhoods is that they become like orange and brown boxes one after another. They make them basically cookie cutter throughout. And that's a problem with all of our neighborhoods here. But you're starting to see some of the more modern stuff. And so like I know Mattamy is doing a really good job keeping like elevation changes and color changes and just kind of like changing it up a little bit to where it feels like a more organic community instead of like copy and paste. That's just my opinion. All right, bro. I'm looking it up, Mr. J. Got expired. Here we go. Boom. Expired. Listing 9/9 of 2020. That's why I wasn't pulling up. It's cool. Jeff Collister says, "Hey, I'm late. It's okay. It's all good. We're just hanging out. This is fun. We're just hanging out, talking about real estate, talking about Orlando." I was checking in run, talked to Jennifer about Island Villages. Prices are higher than I was expecting, but coming from it's crazy. It's crazy. So Island Village actually in Celebration is one of the builders that are not paying realtors, myself included. I sent them probably a dozen clients this past week because again, I want what's best for you guys more than, I want to get paid. I do this to get paid, to fund my family. But I had sent a lot of you guys over to Jennifer, and Jennifer is amazing. She's like the sales manager at Mattamy, but they're not paying the agents for the first phase. And then after that, they're like, come on back after that. So, but it's because they got 7,000 people on their waiting list. And they're like, you know what, we're probably going to sell a lot of these ourselves. And then after that, we'll start partnering with people. So it is interesting though, the pricing on Island Village. They're talking about mid-4s for a townhome. And then I can only imagine, I can tell you guys going through with the pricing has been kind of crazy. So Patty, you just bought in Wincy Groves. That's awesome. Yeah, the Hamlin is going to be amazing. Like you right there next to Hamlin is going to be quite crazy. I think once it's all finished and built out, and thankfully the builders the Boyd family, they're finally building out everything that they promised everybody that they would. And I think that's really great to see. As a homeowner in the area, like I'm just outside of Hamlin, it's great. This is a good question, Steve. So why do I think Harmony failed as a community? I mean, I don't know that it failed completely. It just didn't take off as much. It's far. It's like far from everything. And so I think, when you look at that area, if you're not driving traffic at a really big rate, I think the concept is amazing. I think it's just still far. But here's the crazy thing: is like things are starting to eke more and more and more and more that way. And so I think that's a huge deal for people. I think that I think eventually Harmony will then start taking off. But right now, it just seems quite far away. So Josh asks, how long does it take for the average house after drywall walkthrough? 60 days is about right. If everything's ordered properly, the builder was on their stuff, about 60 days from drywall finishing to closing. But again, like with everything right now, trades are behind, ordering windows, ordering roofs, all of those kind of things. By the time you get to drywall, your window's already in. But like if they're having cabinet issues or appliance issues or any of those other things on the finish side, could slow you down, but about 60 days. Are you guys there? You guys already at drywall? It's a good question. I get a lot from clients moving here. Like, what's the crime rate in our area? Like, that's the scene. So crime and schools are two things like I can't talk about per se, but like I can give you advice on neighborhoods or websites to go to. Like if you shoot me an email, I'll give you some resources. You can track some of the crime stats and like what's going on in the neighborhood. They get pretty detailed. I mean, anytime there's a call, they have to log it. And so if you really want to dig in to figure out what's going on in your neighborhood, I've got some resources for you. Yeah, I mean, we really enjoy Orlando significantly. We don't live in a gated community. We don't feel like we need it. That's us. There's plenty of people like us. So. I'm gonna pause real quick here. As we're kind of like, we got 13, 14 more minutes to go. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I'm putting a lot of these stories, but then 10 times more. So on Instagram throughout the week, just sharing kind of what's going on here in Orlando. This is like my favorite thing to do is to share my love with the area and what's going on. And so just be a free resource for you. I'm at Ken Posick on Instagram. Feel free to follow me along there as we kind of like show off what's going on. So different houses. I'm pretty active on my stories, showing you guys different neighborhoods that are coming. If I'm meeting with builders, I'm talking about it. And yeah, just kind of keeping up with what's going on here. Here's a good question. So Langdon, Winding Bay. So how do I... This is a really good question. So what's my opinion of Rockwell and Winding Bay, and how do I judge a new builder? So I think they are a new builder on the scene. I think that some builders come on the scene and promise the world and don't deliver. And so to me, I can only judge people on what they deliver. I think your word is your bond and you should follow your word to the T. Not everybody does. So I think Rockwell has a really great vision of what they want to do, but they have yet to live up to that. And when I say that, I just think that like, I thought by now they'd be building a lot more houses a lot quicker, and they haven't yet, but their quality of their specs and the quality of what they have out there looks really good. I'm waiting for them to deliver. And so if they deliver on what they promised, it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, it's going to be very cool. I think we need more good mid-level builders in Orlando that offer what they want to offer, even if it's at a slight premium. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I've got a couple clients of mine building with them right now, but it's a weird deal. Like they have you sign a contract and then they're waiting for permitting before they actually lock you into a price because of everything going on with the building industry and trades and like all this other stuff. So they're like waiting to find out the final price until they get permitting. It's a weird deal. I'm not saying it's wrong, just weird in terms of like what I'm used to seeing. So it's a good question. It's a good question. You should be asking a ton more questions. Like, I mean, like throughout the process, like if they're not delivering at a good time, I wouldn't be giving builders a bunch of deposit money if they're not already, proving to you what they should be in terms of like houses getting built. So my opinion. Congrats, man. I'm excited to meet you finally and kind of show you the area. I run past your guys' neighborhood every night, like 2 miles away from you or so. And it's on my running path, but congrats, man. I'm excited to have you down and see what you think. Great day in Magic Kingdom. You love Florida. Looking at Lake Nona and Celebration early next week. Yeah, they're great areas, man. I mean, those are both amazing spots. If you like Disney, you know, it's hard to go wrong. It's hard to go wrong. And we're going to go check out Disney tomorrow. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate the follow. What are my sales today? Jay, are you a real estate agent or a mortgage professional? You ask some very pointed questions. But no, we've sold like $67 million so far this year. So the goal is a little bit over 100 million. I think we're going to do it. So we've helped 150 families or buyers and sellers so far year to date. So it's exciting. Our team is growing and it's been a lot of fun. So where does everyone hang there close in Florida? What's up, Gene? I appreciate you, man. I know you've commented on a ton of my videos, and this is a good place to ask comments like that. Where's everybody hang there close in Florida? It depends on what you want to do, man. There's like everything. You don't get bored in Orlando. If you want the lake life, or you want golf, or you want theme parks, or you want to go watch a space, like a rocket take off, you can go pop over to the coast. Like there's literally, my kids have not said that they're bored since we moved here because there's just constantly stuff to do. And so I think that, and some stuff obviously costs money, but there's plenty that doesn't, that you can go literally watch SpaceX take off into orbit for free. And like, that's cool. Yep. No masks outside Disney or Universal. What? You asked, what are the benefits of new builds in Claremont versus Lake Nona? So it's just price point. That's really it. I think Claremont has less infrastructure and commercial that's already there. Lake Nona, it's starting to come a little bit faster because they have Tavistock behind it, investing $1 billion into all of their build out. Actually, probably more than $1 billion once you start adding it all up. So that's it. I think it's going to be a little bit more expensive in Lake Nona than Claremont. And, you know, Claremont eventually will be closer to Disney, but Lake Nona is still only 25 minutes or so down the 417. Not bad at all. So yeah, but it comes down to budget. You're bored. Well, Washington, man. You got some beautiful trees out there, though. You got a lot of natural parks, I'm sure. Gorgeous. Yeah, so do I like Jones Homes? Yeah, I do. I think they build a good home, and they're starting to get more product. Like, I'm a fan now of the builders that actually can deliver on building. Some of these builders doing multiple offers right now is driving me insane because I've got buyers lined up that are like, you know, we want to buy this house, we want this lot, we're willing to pay for it, we want to put our deposit down today, and builders are like, well, just hang on, one day we'll release it, and when we do, it's going to be multiple offers, and if you use our lender, maybe we'll consider you a little bit more, but maybe not. And we won't tell you anything. By the way, we're not giving you really any incentives anymore. And so it gets to be this like crazy game and like this big shell game. And so Jones is finally like, hey, we've got lots and we're going to release them. And this is how we're going to do it. And this is how we're going to do pricing. And so, and we build a good house. And so to me, like, I can respect that. And so, yeah, for them, I think they do a good job. What do I think about Avalon Park? So I think Avalon Park's great. It's kind of like a Celebration-esque or Baldwin Park-esque little vibe, right? I know they're doing a little bit more on the commercial side down there. If you like the Oviedo area, if you don't mind that drive to like some of the other stuff downtown, and which isn't terribly far. If you get outside of Oviedo, this is like a little pro tip for you guys. For those of you that are looking at Oviedo, Avalon Park area, there's a neighborhood like Eastwood, I think is one of them. They've got some like ongoing litigation with the nuke plant up there, the plant with it looks like Simpsons Springfield up there. So something to look into. I know some neighborhoods that you buy in, you actually have to sign a form that you understand that they're in litigation with those people. And so I don't think Avalon Park's one of them, but it's like literally right on the other side. So something to like just think about when you're going over there. But I think it's a cute little downtown, nice little neighborhood. I like Oviedo. I'm spending a lot more time in Oviedo. We're selling a lot more houses up there because you get a lot more house for your money. But it's a drive. That's like the slight down one. Yeah, more vids on Golden Oak. I mean, I would love to do more vids on Golden Oak. Unfortunately, all the houses are sold, and so it's only resale. So now I'm going to be going after the sellers there to hopefully list with me one day. But like, yeah, it's kind of like a wild ride when you see that many homes sell in Golden Oak. But yeah, I mean, I would Love it. Actually, we're going to be pushing. I'm not quite allowed to announce it yet, but we're working with some relationships currently that'll allow us into some of the more luxury neighborhoods. And I love doing those tours, showing off like the lifestyles of rich and famous here, which is a lot of fun. Golden Oak would be one of them. So yeah, for sure, man. Thanks, man. All right, we got 5 more minutes. Any more questions that you guys have? Feel free to hit me. Disney, Orlando living, real estate anywhere. Even if you're, live somewhere else, you just have a real estate question on what's going on. Happy to answer those questions for you. Let's scroll up, see if I missed any. A couple hundred people chime in here. Oh, here's a good one from Cooper. So I've heard you don't need a real estate attorney in Florida. If that's the case, who protects the buyer's interests? And I would love to hear in another show about the closing process. Okay, cool. So Cooper, you're right. So in Orlando, or in Florida, really, Miami's a little bit of a different animal, but like you don't need an attorney like you do. You're not an attorney state. Like I know New York's an attorney state. There's a few others that you have to hire an attorney. As a real estate agent, like you pass off your contract to an attorney. They look through it. Everybody's duking it out, right? In Florida, you've got basically your real estate agent that's looking out for you. We use an as-is contract. So an as-is contract was written by the Florida bar, so by attorneys. And as real estate agents, we're really only allowed to like fill in the blanks. And so there's really no attorney review because the contract was already written by an attorney. For us, it just comes down to like all of the stipulations on when we're closing, pricing, inspection deadlines, title work deadlines. And then you also have a title company that's protecting you on your title insurance. So they're going to make sure that the HOA is paid. They're going to make sure there's no open liens. There's going to make sure there's no open permits. They're going to make sure it's a clean title. And so between myself and the title company, you're going to be good. So it saves you from having to go through the pain of a potential attorney. This is a good question from Chris. So purchasing at the start of 2022, and I'm wondering what you think about using a builder's preferred lender to save on closing or using an outside lender for a lower rate. That's a very good question, Chris. So I think that you have to look at the credit they're offering versus the rate difference on the outside. So you can go to like a Chase or a Bank of America and Wells Fargo, or Greg, I had him on a while ago on one of my lives, and probably get a lower rate. But you're probably not going to get great service at all. And they're obviously you're not going to get the credit that the builder is offering you, because the builder basically pays the lender for the opportunity to like be in your business throughout the process. That's a lot of times how it works. So they want to know like, hey, how's the appraisal going? How's the background check going? How's the W-2s? All of those kind of things. And so they're usually in cahoots together, which is why you get the credit. And it is what it is. Like D.R. Horton, they own their own title company, their own mortgage company. Toll Brothers owns their own mortgage company and title company, right? And so that's why they give you the credit. So what you have to do is compare apples to apples and say, okay, Toll Brothers is offering me $15,000 if I use all of their services, but these guys are offering a 1/4 point lower on rate. Is it worth paying down and sticking with Toll Brothers? Maybe. A lot of times it's more worth sticking with the on-site rep. But that all being said, most builders now are stripping out incentives. So they're saying, like, it used to be like I've negotiated in years past $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in incentives that they now tie to you using those lenders, but now they're like $5,000, right? And for me, like, I'd rather get a 1/4 point lower and skip the $5,000 because I'm going to stay in this house for 5 to 7 years. But that's me. So you just have to compare apples to apples. It's a long way to say that, but that's what I would do. So Josh asked what made me start in Orlando. Like to choose Orlando outside of anywhere else. We were doing like, for us, it was like we were going to Orlando all the time for Disney, Universal, and just hanging out here, and in Naples a lot. We lived in Michigan, and I was like, you know what? I don't think that we want to live in Detroit forever. It snows here a lot, and there's the automotive industry. I guess there's some lakes, but like for the most part, there wasn't much to do because it was so cold all the time. And so my wife and I, we wanted to move here and buy a second home in Celebration. We came here to buy a little townhouse in Celebration. And then we were like, what if we just didn't go home? So we ended up building a house in Celebration instead, and we lived there for 4 years before we moved out to Horizon West. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We chose Orlando because it seemed like a really fun place to grow up, the kids to grow up. The economy here is booming. I'm in real estate. I've been in real estate since 2003, and so it was like cool place. I think I could start over and take advantage of. But we didn't do YouTube there or anything like that. It was a completely different game. To me, I found YouTube because I was always going to YouTube to find answers, and I was like, there's all these realtors talking about how great they are with selling real estate, and they're showing off listings, but they aren't really giving you information. And so that's kind of when we got into YouTube, and so far it's been working out for me. Yeah, Lewis, you talked about the insurance premium. Yeah, the insurance premium. We talked about this on our last live a couple weeks ago. Yeah, insurance premiums are going up like 30%, and I know that our politicians here are basically trying to do their best to make it harder for people to do insurance fraud and hopefully bring some of those premiums down, but they have jumped up significantly. Yeah. So Robert, I love living in Celebration. We still go there all the time. We've got a lot of friends there. We still hang out there a lot. For me, at the time, it was like we wanted a newer house, and we just had our third kid, and the house was getting really small feeling, and we're like, where can we go and build something that's a little bit bigger with a little bit of a lot? And it didn't exist in Celebration at the time. Island Village was like really slow to come on board, and so we looked around and we said, okay, what's around the other side of Disney, Horizon West? Let's build a house there. So that's what we ended up doing. So we love Celebration. So I hang out there all the time. Yeah, Gene, definitely, man. So I know you talked about the rental game for a few times here. So if you have questions, shoot me an email. That's going to be the best way to go. Realtor.com is amazing for rentals. We don't do tenant representation at this time, just because property managers are very, very tight with who they work with and that kind of thing. It's actually better for you to work directly with a property manager because they're like, they don't want to pay realtors to split the fee, like, because the fee's already small to begin with. And so it's best to work directly with the property managers. That being said, like, for completely no cost, we can have a conversation on like where to live, what to look for, is a price a certain good price or not. I'm happy to talk to you to like whatever, make it a little bit easier transition for you. We do that at no charge. All right, guys. Charles, you use Greg Matthews. Yeah, we had him on like maybe a month or two ago. The guy's awesome. Like, he's really good. He's much like builders are tough right now in terms of like customer service. Lenders are tough because they're overworked. They've got refinances. They've got all these other crazy things going on. But Greg's good. He's like old school. Like, he's a young guy, but he's like super old school and like answers the phone on the weekends and like make sure that he's got the customer service at a high level. And so I think all that stuff's so important. So I think this is it for today. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Saturday at 1 o'clock. We're going to do this more. Feel free to drop comments in down below. Let me know what other questions you guys have. Questions maybe didn't answer today, but also if you have any ideas on videos for the future, we've got our video team now up. We're running. We're doing 2 videos every single week, trying to show off life in Orlando. We've got some really cool ideas coming up. We're doing more man on the street stuff coming up. That's going to be released on Tuesday. We did Winter Garden. We did Lake Nona. We're going to continue kind of do some more fun stuff like that to show off life here in Orlando. But I appreciate you all big time, and we'll hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Talk to you soon.